Watch! Hey,
Good evening.
good evening. Happy New Year to everyone. Really good to see y'all. I'm seeing a couple new faces in the chat, or at least I haven't seen you in a while. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Really happy to see you. Those of you who've been with us for a while, good to see you as always. Ultra, Robert, I see Legacy, my man Legacy. How you doing? Yang Yanzhao, excuse me. Commodore, thank you so much. Oh, Dunder Moose, what's up, man? Good to see you. Yeah, we have a really awesome guest on. We'll be getting him in here really quick.
What's up, Chubby?
And of course, Chubby. Oh, Chubby, just want to let you know your incessant emails to HR about the time of the show. We read them. We've took them into consideration, and we're starting 30 minutes early as part of the new year. So Merry Christmas. That's my gift to you, Chubby. 30 minutes earlier so you can get your beauty sleep. And keep cranking out that Shadow Dark stuff. Erudite, good to see you, brother. So, Gary, how was your new year?
Man, I'm in Texas, and it was throughout the I'm spazzing out.
A little bit, but you're back.
Anyway, sorry, we're having internet issues. Yeah, it was in the holidays, but overall it was really good. No game news for you. I've been busy with kids and family and everything else. So
yeah. It's kind of the same here. It was appreciate the new time. All right. Yeah, it was just a busy new year, busy holiday season. I did game. I have been gaming. We're going to talk about my game because we have the author of this game here a little bit when he comes on. But yeah, it's been good. Earlier today, though, I did want to give a shout out to Max Liao, Legion of Myth. His Game Master Insight show is back. It started tonight. Great panel of guests. They were talking about everything from collaborative storytelling or world building with or the DM controls. I popped on for 5 minutes because the new format, they'll take like questions and stuff. Really great. Just wanted to say thanks for Max for the shout out for my show. I hope you guys check out that show. I'll be on in a couple weeks. I can't remember what we're going to be talking about, but I'll bring in those news. I'll bring that up. Yeah. So, Gary, you had some stats you wanted to rattle off.
Yeah, I do. We should get Robert in here. So tonight our guest is Robert Alderman, author of Rob. What's up? Rob Alderman, author of Gods of the Forbidden North. And I wanted to say a few things before we get into this. We get a lot of guys on the show that they have great stuff they're putting out, their game book, their module, whatever it is. A lot of great independent stuff. But I want to read these numbers out to you real quick. We have 3 books totaling 1,664 pages. There are roughly, I think I missed a few, 156 maps in the book, 9.5 years of writing time, and approximately 300K in Kickstarters. We know there's some other money flowing around. Hey, look at that. Hey, he's wearing your shirt. The only reason I read all that.
Hero of the North.
Yeah, he is. That's my son. Yep.
That's awesome.
Rob, the only reason I want to read that out is because as we go through your stuff, you really have every reason to be proud of yourself just for getting it done. And it's huge, man. There's a lot of stuff there. So congratulations. Pats on the back. You did a great thing.
Thank you, man. I really appreciate that. That's awesome.
Yeah. Well, I've said this before. I think the trilogy, and one of the reasons why we wanted to have you on is because I'm a backer of book 3, and you let everybody know that the book is basically done, right? They're just going through like the layout and all that stuff.
No, it's pretty much done.
Done.
Backers have got the PDF,
PDFs, right? Okay.
all the maps and the illustrate, all the digital files. But I'm just basically taking a few weeks to kind of, get through the holidays and kind of relax.
Get some sleep.
Yeah, no, it's funny. I've been sleeping. I used to get up at really early, and now I'm sleeping into like 10. I'm like, yeah, no reason to get up. So staying up really late. Anyway, whole schedule's off now, but it feels great.
Yeah, no, I hear that.
Playing video games like Bowser's Fury. So, all the games, all the stuff you wanted to do, but you couldn't. But
well, I know Matt is running Guys of the Forbidden North with his live group, his in-person real life friends. Chubby's running it online.
Yeah.
A lot of people pop up, when it comes up, I'm running it. I've taken this from it or whatever.
Yeah.
It's I don't know. I don't even know what to say. It seems really successful. What is it? How did it come about? This was your campaign, right? That you eventually translated into this, or how did it all
working
happen?
on it? And I was just working on the side, doodling basically in grad school. So actually, I guess it would have been my first job right after grad school, actually. I think the very first maps may have been sketched in grad school, but I wasn't like working on it in earnest. It was, I think I found the maps and I started filling them in, like what are these? And then, and then one day, and then I lost them again. Like I put them in a drawer. I think it was in my Penn State main office, like my work office. I was a professor in my first job in a grad school. And I was, I worked there on campus for like 3 years, and I think I was moving my stuff out at the end of the third year, or I was switching offices. It's kind of starting to get hazy, but that's when I was going through all these papers, and I found this picture of the ruins of Fort Eichenvar, and I had done the adventure for it, and I was supposed to spring it on my players, and I looked at it and went, that looks pretty cool. And I was like, did I draw that? You hadn't seen it in a long time, and I started reading what I wrote, and I was like, this is pretty darn good. And I was like, maybe I should do more of this. And that's then I wrote the Tesseract of Time next. And they weren't really supposed to be tied together. They were just two different things I was writing. And I had just read an H.P. Lovecraft story, Call of Cthulhu. At long last, I'd read it.
Nice.
And I'd always meant to. And then I was like, oh, I got to write something. This is just a feel like I got to do something with this. So I went and I wrote Tesseract, the original Tesseract at Time, which I think, Matt, you actually may have seen the original draft.
I did. Yeah. I think I may have written something on my blog to kind of tease either book 1 or book 2, volume 1 or volume 2. Yeah, that was pretty wild. And I knew, well, what I don't want to derail this part of the conversation, but a lot of what I want to talk about is stuff that's been happening in my campaign that totally, thanks to like your level of world building, has allowed me to do quite a bit, and has done a lot of teasing. I'm actually bummed because the one character that was actually he was starting to pierce the veil, because he had that void craziness. He failed the saving throw after reading the Black Book of Morcall.
Oh yeah.
So I started seeing some crazy stuff. Well, what I did was, so I'm using the rule cyclopedia, and it's yeah. It was more about a nostalgia, but quickly I'm realizing that book is not enough to really handle the stuff that you can do with this campaign. So to Full Metal Dragon's point, next to this, I have, give me a second, it's so heavy.
Oh, I know you're axe, yeah.
So
it's one of my prize collections.
Oh yeah. Oh, I brought the whole thing. I'm part of the Poplar Slip Elite. I brought it to the game session, and I purposely, because he has a wooden table, my buddy, I purposely just kind of dropped it down heavy, so it made this like loud thunk. And they're all like, what is that? And I go, Axe 2, the Imperial Imprint. And they're like, "Oh, that's the game you've been talking about? It's it's so big." And I'm like, "Yes, it is." But but yeah, I started using a lot of like the hijinks rules because when they're doing crazy stuff in downtime, whatever. But another thing I noticed, like in Rule Cyclopedia, there's the skill section sucks. I'll be honest, it just sucks. But it has this one skill called alternative magics. And if you read, it's like your character knows alternative magics. And I'm like flipping through the book and I'm like, well, there's really only one magic system. What are you talking about? And that's when I got the crazy idea of importing RPG Pundit's magic systems that he has in Old School Companion 3. And so this character, magic user, he picks that up and that gave him access to dream magic. So I just started having him to have nightmares of the worm. And then when he got this void craziness insanity, like he started like seeing things like these the demons and they're mating with the natives and they're all like, I thought you said this was an OSC game. This feels like Lamentations. And I'm like,
direction.
Yeah, but it was pretty wild because they're dealing with like what I really like most about the world building is there's like this immediate threat that Alexander Macris talks about, but then there's this existential threat that's behind the scenes, and that's the kind of thing that like slowly starts to like develop and get some, the players can uncover it as they adventure through the world. So they've been going head to head with the Agasan and the Nolkul Syndicate.
Yeah.
But all the while this one character was like, there's something really freaky going on at Castle Thar-Ganon, right? And then he died. So all of a sudden that pipeline of information ended. So I'm like, so they're left with all these questions, and it's fantastic.
Mr. Burton.
So but yeah, it's been great. It's been absolutely great. I really feel like I have every tool I need. It's almost like overwhelming at times because I'm like, oh God, I'm gonna have to, I'm flipping through a couple books. I'm like, okay, I got to make sure of this. But then I just show up. My players decide to do something, and I don't know. It just happens. Like it's been great. It's been absolutely great. So you really have. I don't know. I can't say enough about your trilogy here. So.
That's awesome, man. I can't wait to hear your thoughts on reading the Tesseract too, because I changed a lot.
Okay.
I can't wait to get a chance to read that one in its current form. But we're gonna
say. I think what's kind of interesting is Chubby's running too. In fact, he says the guy in my group that took
that's going on a shirt.
Says pull up his next one. He says the guy in my group that took the book of Morcal kept having visions of the guzzler guzzling him. Yeah, and well, the thing is it's big enough that everybody's gonna have a different experience going through it.
Yeah,
you're not gonna have. And then Matt's group has kind of slipped into this one-to-one time, trying to build a fort and all kinds of other stuff. So
yeah, that was what's interesting because I know for a while Chubby was talking about it on X, like what his crew was doing. It seemed like they were just like, yep, we're a team. We're going to go out into the wilderness and start hex crawling and seeing what's out there. My group was more like, hey, let's figure out what's going on in Vulcangard first. And that's when they took out the Graven Wolves gang. After the Graven Wolves tried to, I did all during downtime while they were off adventuring. The Graven Wolves attacked a bar that they built and were running, but they hired mercenaries to protect it while they were away. So I had this whole street fight that happened, and they got in trouble with the guard, and then they were all pissed off, so they went and just wiped out the Graven Wolves gang, while the thief in my party took all the skooma and smuggled it out and started selling it on the street. Like it was no one knew that he was doing it. I mean, they knew, but they didn't know. And then they took on the Shun slavers, and so I finally was like, what would the Yagasan do at this point? The iron price is a thorn in his side. So he gave him the offer they can't refuse. He's like, you're going to join me, or I'm going to destroy you. So they're like, this took an entire game session of them just like, so what do we do? What do we do? So currently they are agreeing to work with him, and they're going to go back to Fort Ivikar and resettle. They refuse to go into the dark side, so they haven't seen the Guzzler yet. Because they knew they're just like, yeah. But they're gonna get into the slave trade for a little while just to appease the Nolkul Syndicate, but their plan is ultimately to betray. And they found the letter that the one halfling had.
Oh, wow.
That fat Folka, you know. So they're trying to, like, you know, there's going to be a showdown. Oh yeah, there's going to be a showdown in the Tower Shadow at some point, dude. And they, the funny thing is, they're like level 5, level 6. Well, most of them are at this point, and they are deathly afraid of the Barrow of Eight. I'm like, when are you guys going to go to that? When are you getting? Oh man, the Barrow of Eight is like,
if they're watching. Stay that way.
So, but anyway, yeah, there's just so much to do. Like, I mean, it's a real testament. Like, Chubby's group has like this one play style and one sort of their own motivations versus my group, and it's just a great experience. It just seems like everyone's just like enjoying it. They're making it their own, and I can't wait. They're planning on, one of the guys is playing a dwarf. They want to start building way stations. I think this is their plan, building way stations all the way up to Castle Garthanan, so they can have supplies go up, more men for mercenaries and whatnot, and create a supply run so when they can lay siege to the castle. I think that's what they're going to do. It's still real early game, but the questions I've been getting, I'm just like, oh,
there are no wrong answers, only bad rolls.
No.
Truth.
No, I love that. It's funny, from a creator standpoint, and I don't know if Matt, you've had this happen, but like, you know, you release, like when somebody releases, like, I don't know, a song or like a movie, like it's out and it's like, oh wow, and everyone goes and sees it theoretically, right? Or they don't. Well, like I've found with like RPG books, like you release it and there's this long, quiet hush. And it lasts months, and you have a couple of people come in and say something, but generally speaking, there's nothing for a while. And and you're like, does anyone play it? Like you don't really know. And like for like a year, I would say, with a few exceptions, that's pretty much what it was like after the first volume. Then I started hearing, a person here or there. Oh, we got a group. Hey, we've ran a few sessions. Wow, and I'm just starting to read this. You're like, that was like a year ago. And then I go, wait a minute, I do the same thing. I got really books I haven't read. Yeah. They're like, oh, they look great, but I haven't read any of them, And you sit there and you're like, okay. And then it wasn't until volume 2 was out that I started really hearing people were running the first book, like truly starting to hear it, and like it was being talked about as if, like, not to me, like people were talking about it like I wasn't there. Finding a forum where they're talking about it, or
right.
And it took like, I mean, it was like 2.5 years after it was like really to like actually have that experience. So, and now I hear so many people talking about the first book, and you're like, I just finished the third one.
I was 15 when I wrote that.
It was like, they'll never I'll be dead. And they'll like, I just read third book, But yeah, it's weird. It's a weird, that's made me learn like how delayed everything is.
Yeah, well, real quick, just want to say super chat from Mercurius. Thank you very much, sir. We appreciate it. Good to see you. Well, this is one of the things I've been, I don't want to say struggle with. It's just been kind of odd. I guess that's the best way to put it. Someone releases something and maybe they're semi-known or are known, and there'll be a flurry of flip through reviews. People, right. especially if it's not some massive tome like your book, but they're just like, oh, check out the artwork, check out the quality of this, and oh, it's got this really cool story. And it was one of the reasons why I started this channel the way I did, because I'm like, well, but was it fun to play? I know you didn't play it, you just got the book, right? So I would start doing the actual plays, and then I would do the review. But by the time I get to the review, it's been out. The book has been out for months or 6 months or to even a year. And I'm wondering, like, is my review even helpful at that point? Because people have already like maybe done the mad rush to purchase it because of FOMO, or they like the creator or whatever. So I don't know. I will say this. Howling Sphinx, who I don't usually see him in chat, but he's always commenting on the after show, like in the comment section on YouTube, recommended I do a series on Gods of the Forbidden North as like a combination play report and kind of like a review, which I think would, because I've been wanting to, I just didn't know where to start, but I think that might actually be the best way to do it. Just be like, okay, on session one we did this, and then I could like, but yeah, it's weird. It's weird, like that delay, and like I don't know.
Yeah.
Actually, Rob, have you watched the videos where Chubby is using Gods of the Forbidden North, sort of juxtapose, like this is a good adventure after he's reviewed all these bad?
I mean, yeah, I watched. I just watched the one he dropped. It takes usually I'm on a delay when I watch them because I've been real busy with the production, so
Yeah.
I'm just starting to. It's like my head's coming up, and I'm like, what's been going on in the world?
Well, I'm just thinking that those are getting a lot of views.
They are
like a lot of views. Like, congratulations, Chubby, good job.
Yeah.
But that means a lot more people know about your stuff.
Yeah,
and there is a delay. I don't hear about things and run out and buy them, right away. And then after I buy them, very few things get read immediately. Everybody's in the middle of their game. Everybody's got plans for their next campaign. So
yeah, I usually will skim something real quick just to see.
Yeah,
does this look like I should spend more time on it?
Well, and I've been worried about reading too. Like, I've read here and there, but I keep getting. I was invited to Chubby's game, and when Matt was talking about doing Gods of the Forbidden North, I didn't realize he was talking about like his in-person group. So I was like, oh, well, maybe I'm gonna play that. So I don't want to cheat myself of the experience. I will say this: I really wish I would have bought one of those maps. Those cloth maps that you had in North Texas.
They're good.
I should have bought that. I really should have bought that for the table.
My players put it into a glass case so they can use dry erase markers on it and kind of keep track of what they've been finding on the map. Yeah, it's great. We got a super chat from Disco Barbarian. $5. Thank you, sir. Yar dog brothers and soul sisters. Hope all is well despite the chaos all around us. Things are well, sir. Thank you very much. Good to see you tonight. We appreciate it. Oh, there we go. Oh, okay. I'm having technical issues. Hey, we'll give them a thumbs up anyway. All right. But yeah, those maps are awesome. That map has been like they just love it. They're just drawing all over it.
I'm going to pick up the Underworld and my second batch of wilderness maps from Joe Ingenito, who's Sagaverse Studios, who did them, and he's right here in Florida. I'm in Tampa right now, so I'm going to drive on the other side of the water on Monday and see him, and then grab all the extras. So if you want one, Gary, I asked him. I think he made like 30 or 50 extra ones.
Are you? I saw somebody asked earlier, and here's the thing: I don't understand the business of making games and all that. And you've already done your Kickstarter. I mean, you're kind of finished. Somebody did ask earlier if you were going to have a table at North Texas again.
I had it starred, waiting for the right moment to bring it up.
No,
yeah, that's kind of what I thought. I mean, you don't have anything to get rid of. You're done.
Yeah, it was an experiment when I did that table. I think I told you guys that. It was an interesting experience. I'm glad I did it, and I learned a lot. But to me, there's a lot of things you got to do, which I just don't want to do in order to make that profitable. Like, so like, for example, driving yourself there, shacking up with 4 people, whatever you got to do, you got to do.
Yeah.
And it's like, I don't know. It wasn't to go there 4 days and travel 4 or 5 days to get there and back. Like, probably not worth it. So I want to go, but I haven't even looked at anything in the future really. Except I'm supposed to be at page 3 in Philadelphia in a couple weeks, but I have a booth there but I'm seriously debating just showing up to the games. I'm running, walking around, and leaving, and like not even doing it, not doing any of that crap. Just showing up like a fan and just
Well, it sounds
that's
like
more
you
fun,
enjoy the. It sounds like you enjoy the creative process more than the business kind of bit of it. So
Yeah.
we'll talk, Rob. I have plans for your career. Speaking of which, because I am really excited about this. What are game wise? Do you have any plans for anything else after this?
Like producing something.
Yeah. Like, what are you making next? What's your? What do you have a plan?
I have a few plans. I am probably not ready to talk about those yet, but because I'm not sure which one I want to go with, and I don't want to,
All right,
mislead
guys.
anybody, but
Tell everybody what you want Rob to do next. He doesn't know what to do. It's indecision. It's up to y'all.
no, I actually I have like several plans. I had one of my plans is 5 Kickstarters 3 months apart.
Oh wow.
Like no, I've got plans. Like they're there. I know you're messing around with me, but I got plans. I'm not sure which one I want to do, and I'm kind of looking at them like it kind of feels nice not having anything.
Yeah.
Like take a break, take a breather.
real.
Yeah.
Well, and we were talking on the phone a while back, and I had said something about because you were just it was crunch time for you, and in fact, I think it was really before crunch time. I think it was like you were just hitting that end phase where you were just really having to churn stuff out.
Yeah.
And I think I said something to you like maybe you should do something smaller, just do a lot of small projects. And you said, go big or go home, Gary.
I'm a broken man now. I can't. Over. You do a 2-page no. 1-page no.
Never again. Never again.
No, I've got. I mean, to be blunt with you, I'm always tinkering on something and working on something. I've got I probably have 6 to 7 projects just in tabletop role playing, like not and many outside of that are kind of like serious ones that I'm really wanting to do. And I'm obviously you only have so much bandwidth, so that's kind of where I'm at. Where I'm like, which one do I want to do? And I have to kind of decide where do I want to be in X number of years, because if I go down that road, I can't go down that road. And that's kind of, it's like everything's kind of in place for whatever road I want to go down. I've just got to make the decision. So that's why I'm taking a few weeks to kind of think about it and kind of get away from it. And that's kind of where I'm at. So like I said, all I have to do is basically press the button essentially to move down whatever I want to do. I just don't know what it is yet, because it's going to be a commitment either way.
Well, so. I think you should fly in on Chubby's private jet to North Texas.
Yeah.
The boys.
I love North Texas. Yeah.
It was a lot of fun. I played in a lot of games and I signed up for none.
Yeah.
Like I was always in a game. I didn't sign up for one.
Yeah.
Game.
And we didn't even pre-register or get our tickets or anything. We just kind of showed up and we're like, here's some money, let us play, and we found stuff to do. I mean, it's a really nice, and that's why I like tell a lot of people, that was a real epiphany and revelation to me. I really felt like North Texas Con and to some extent Arnicon really are kind of like embodiment of, at least from like an OSR perspective, like the hobby and the industry. I think they're really more important if you're interested in, the higher level, like we're going to try to write a game. We're going to try to make this thing. And we're going to try to do this, whatever. As opposed to like something like Gen Con, which is like just enough wall-to-wall vendors. You know what I mean? So
I don't know what you mean. I've never been to the big ones.
Oh, neither have I. I've just seen videos and pictures, and I'm like, none of this looks appealing to me.
Yeah, it looks big.
So
I kind of want to see it once. Like.
Oh yeah.
When I was a kid, my uncle took me. There was one year, Cloakers looked this up a couple times, but there was one year where like Gen Con and Origins, it was like the same year or something. And this was the 80s, and it was wall to wall, like just product. But that wasn't, I mean, for some people that was great. You know, it was a lot of fun. You got to see everything that was coming out. It was big displays. But man, I don't want to pay for that. At this age, I don't want to do it. I don't want to go to a concert. I don't want to be anywhere where there are more people than, you know, whose names I can know. So
yeah, that was actually, now I'm going to sound like I'm dropping my win. That's not what I'm doing.
He's like, he pulls it to his side.
Oh yeah.
Oh, I just happened to have it on my desk.
It's just a spotlight orb. It was cool. But no, it was cool. What happened was like they sent that to me like 2 or 3 weeks before, you know, Gen Con. I was like, whoa! I was like, I won this. I was like kind of blown away, you know. And like I remember, I was just like, I was just scratching my head. I was like, oh, you'll have to go and accept it. Like, and so I go and start looking at like hotels, and it's like $9,000.
Good God,
for half a day and a sofa.
yeah,
all the way on the other side of town. The bad part. It was just like, yeah, I'm gonna have to do the
video. yeah.
So but that would have been cool to see that. I was kind of, I would have went if it wasn't so. I mean, it was like all booked. I was like, oh my god! And I was like,
oh yeah,
we'll book this out like a year in advance. I'm like,
who was it? I was talking to someone who said like when Gen Con rolls into town, like the population increases by like 20,000-30,000 or something like that. Something ridiculous. So it's like, no, I mean, I don't, you know, 500, 600, 700 people, perfect. You know, I like the smaller ones, I guess. That can go on a shirt too for everyone who's keeping track of all the weird double entendres.
Matt likes the smaller ones.
That was good.
I've just been watching chat. I've just been keeping track of chat. So.
That's good.
So, but yeah,
Born for radio, man.
I know. But yeah, I don't know. Well, I would love to see a North Texas Con. I have a feeling that's going to be my like one of my annual trips because I get to spend time with Brian and this guy. Yeah. But and then you know get to game with some like cool people and stuff. And that was really awesome seeing you, you know, meeting you face to face and all that stuff. So
me?
But, yeah, you.
Rob was there, right? Yeah. You were there?
Yeah.
I think so. Yeah.
We got to see some people get eaten.
That's true.
Yeah,
that is true. Dude, that was might have been
so fun.
That was one of my.
I actually had fun playing Horde Wars with Todd, but I think your game was.
That was baller, man. His game was awesome.
His game was good. I think because just the situation where we started in one room and we got ran off by the polite police.
Yep.
Do you remember? Can you please respect we're having a game?
Well, I just didn't appreciate the guy. I didn't appreciate the guy putting his hand on my shoulder. Talk to me about it. Remember that?
Yeah.
I'm just like,
yeah.
What am I? Am I in the cafeteria at my high school again? Like, get the fuck out of here, dude.
It's a good. I'm really glad. Like, I wasn't
calm, like technique. He like put it on you. He's like,
I swing with
my like this and whips his beard.
And then when we thought we were being nice by finding another room, offense was taken by us getting up and leaving. There was some offense.
Oh yeah, yep.
But anyway,
were they?
A little bit. I
went over and tried to diplomat it. I don't know if it worked.
You failed your check, bro.
Yeah.
Whatever the target was, you were well below. It did not work.
Hey guys.
So
they just like, hey, douche.
Yeah, Chubby's got he had already decided he hated us. When we walked in smiling and having a good time, he decided he didn't like us. All right. Chubby Funster has a question here. Serious question for Matt. When you first started the campaign, how many adventures did you show how many adventures did you show to the players that were headed up to Thar-Ganon to seek their fortune? I'm thinking that is something that should be stressed more than I originally realized to lay the groundwork for the Shun's operation. Thoughts?
Oh, that's actually a really good question. I played up. I changed the timeline of the world a little bit. The Hadean Empire like collapsed like what 40 some odd years prior to.
Fucking with your shit, Rob.
I made it a little bit more immediate to like explain like the constant influx of like refugees and people from the Hadean Empire and stuff. And then I really played with the concept of the foreigner, the Wujan types. So there's Norsemen and like people from the Orient, and then you have the natives, right? So it was a combination. What I was sort of like setting up for Vulcangard, it was a combination of people just fleeing chaos to like the last bastion of order, which happened to be in Tetherian, at Vulcangard, and rumors of what people kind of knew of the history of this castle Thar-Ganon. And they did hear of adventurers going out, but they really didn't see too many because they were just like a throng of people just getting off of a boat, right? And they get through in that intro adventure where you like make your character as you go along. They're getting like poked and prodded to make sure they're healthy before they're off the boat into the city. So their initial goal, what had nothing to do with the castle, really. They kind of knew, like from a meta game level, that that's sort of like the goal, like to head there. But they were like, when they had to register their adventuring party, it was like this light bulb happened. They all looked at each other like, we're a mercenary company and we're called the Iron Price. Yeah, that's a good name. Yeah. We're the Iron Price. We are the Iron Price. And next thing you know, like they went from story gamers to OSR guys. They're like, we're not doing anything unless there's money involved. In fact, that opening adventure where like you can like rescue the kid, they're like, nope, this isn't worth it. So the kid's gone, the chick's gone. They're like, whatever. There's no money in it, and they're out doing their thing. So they're looking at this as more like the Wild West, like Gold Rush, but the Gold Rush is the adventure that could happen out there. And they're vaguely aware of this castle and some darkness about it. But like I said, the one character that was actually like actively trying to understand it died. And so yeah. So now they're just stuck fighting with the Nolkul Syndicate and afraid of the Barovate. And they're starting up a trade route with those sun worshippers.
Done here.
Right. Yeah. So I got to tell this story. So last session, so I'm using 1-to-1 time, and I'm basically using the same calendar. So I'm like, guys, it's dead of winter. You know, it's going to be really cold. You're going to be dealing with hypothermia and stuff. And my buddy goes, well, there's those sun worshippers and their temple's always warm. Why don't we travel there? We can get there in a day. We'll spend the night. We don't have to worry about it, and then we'll head to this other place that they want to explore. So I'm like, okay, that's cool. Meanwhile, the sun worshippers are proselytizing, doing their little magical dance and all this other stuff, and I start having them make saving throws to see if they get converted to the sun cult. They ended up losing half their mercenaries that they hired. So now there's all these like hippie dudes that they left. And one character, I can't tell you who, because they might watch this. He actually has been under the he's under the effects of Aegeus. So yeah, we'll see what happens. But that was hilarious because they were all like, yeah, that's a great idea. And then they start rolling saves and they're all looking at my friend. This is a real stupid idea. Why do we do this?
I'll be right back, gentlemen.
It was fantastic.
Hi, Gary.
Another question. How are you handling overland transportation of canoes, boats necessary to reach Ikenvar through the bog, or are they using the sea? Great question. So the first time they actually traveled on foot because they didn't have the money or the funds. And that was a couple of their mercenaries got swallowed by giant toads and stuff. But thanks to some really lucky rolls, they they got the drop on the fort. Like they were actually able to swim up to the broken wall on the south side. And at that point, archers on top couldn't get to them. And so they ended up having this really great like battle where they had all the dudes funnel in through. They didn't let any of them survive. But like I said, once they saw the bridge to the second part of the keep was broken and that keep was dark, they're like, we're not going over there. There's something over there. We're not going. This now that they're going to be working for the Yagasan, they're going to go by boat with like rafts and canoes and then head up into the hex through the swamp that way. And from there, they're going to funnel slaves and other goods at this point. But we'll see. Like I said, I don't know. Maybe they might decide to go crazy and attack the Shadow Tower next session. I think it's going to take a little while, though. I think they want to build up their forces.
Magic Missile of Shadows.
Oh, I can't wait to. I got to be careful. I can't say what. I just can't wait to the big reveal when they're all like, "Oh, it's just an old man." So, but yeah, it's.
I love that Luke got instant guard, don't you?
yeah, it's so awesome. Oh, Death Angel Shadow. I'm so bad at remembering this. Thank you for reminding me. Everyone, please hit like, subscribe, bell icon, share this around. If you're on Rumble, give me a follow there. And I am like 14, 15 away from being able to stream to Facebook. So if you're on Facebook, go to Gaming with Lord Mattias and give me a follow there. I would really appreciate it so I can stream games and stuff there. Well, this was when they were bloodthirsty mercenaries, and now they're doing this purely out of self-preservation. Yes. Yes, you heard that right. They're engaging in some slavery for the time being. For the time being, their plan is to ultimately betray the Yagasan, and I can't wait for it. It's going to be awesome. It's going to be epic. But yeah, they have not gone too far past. If you look at the map, like maybe 6 to 8 hexes north of Vulcangard, they have no interest. Well, it's not they don't have any interest. I think they're just afraid. But they're trying to get control of Vulcangard, and then I think from there start funneling troops and stuff. It's
actually pretty common. I have a buddy and I've heard many say something along those lines that he took my world and loved it, but he wanted to run it in 5e because he couldn't find anyone else. You know how that is.
Sure, yeah.
He was just kind of converting on the fly, and basically he was telling me that they went all the way up to like 8th level or 9th level, never left Vulcangard once.
Wow.
There was so much to do, and he was like, yeah. A lot of it just sort of organically happened. They did this, so I said, well, I think they would do that, and there was guidance, and then eventually there was a point where there's not, right? Because it starts going whatever direction the party takes it or whatever. And he said that they did everything from volume 2 and like volume 1 that was in the city basically, and never left.
Yeah, I had so much fun with this. So you have a serial killer in there who was burned under what the heck was it, Robber's Gate. And again, before the sleep magic guy died, I was also feeding information to him. So I was rolling scrolls randomly at the Aerophagus, the Mages Guild, and he picked up a treasure map. So I decided it was that dude's hideout off in that one hex, but I described it as like it looked like human skin with like weird scrawls on it, and I hinted at the underworld and all this stuff because there's an entrance to the underworld in that dude's cabin. So he starts like, oh, I'm going to do some dream magic and try to figure this out. So I described the dude's execution and like his skin like flaking off and turning into this treasure map. They were all like, we're not going there. But eventually they did. And they didn't defeat him, but they saw the opening to the underworld. And I teased book 2. I'm like, we can go here, guys. And they're like, oh, we got to retreat. We got to figure out how to defeat this guy. So they found a couple ways into the underworld. They just haven't gone there yet. I think, like I said, I think they want to make sure when they return home, it's 100% safe. and it will not be safe until the Nolakil Syndicate is gone. So I don't know. We'll see.
They
We'll
think
see.
they'll be safe.
Hey,
Yeah.
hey, real quick, Death Angel Shadow is talking about whether he wants to buy it or play in it, and I was just saying, hey man, I've skimmed it. I don't want to spoil it because I don't know if I'm gonna play in it or whatever, but I do go, looking at the maps and everything. And then I just had this thought, Rob, aren't you in Chubby's game from time to time, playing through your own module?
That's right. Yeah.
Man,
Yeah, Death Angel, go ahead and buy it, read it, whatever, man.
I lost my pants, and
Rob
I ran off
wrote it.
in the
He's
wilderness
playing
without
in
any
it.
pants. That's what happened. So, like even if you know what's going on, you don't.
Absolutely. Yeah. No.
Yeah,
That's
there is so much. Like I'm sure there's stuff my guys are just never going to end up touching. Like they went to Skullsburg once, and they're like, let's not, because I think they I don't know, escorted a merchant or something. And they're just like, well, this place sucks. They went back to Vulcangard. I'm like, well, you really didn't explore it. Okay, we'll go back to Vulcangard. So there's a lot. And I've been dropping Lamentations modules, like smaller ones, just kind of like add a few, just like little variety. That's actually how they got the bar. But yeah, I got to figure out where to put Death Frost Doom though. It would totally work. It would totally work, and then I can unleash
module.
Yeah, and then I can unleash a horde of 5,000 undead on everybody. It'll be fantastic.
A reserve force of the Skull God.
Yeah, exactly. That's exactly what I was thinking. Like, because from the history, the undead rose from the lake and surrounded the army. Perfect.
I put that module in the Bard's Gate region of Necromancer games once. It was glorious. A whole issue that was just like awesome. So, fun stuff.
What's up, Warp Plots? Good to see you, man. You're never late. You're always on time. For the second watch, that is. I'm just...
Nah, you can be late.
Brian's late.
I don't even know if right now. Probably not. He's probably some special screening of some, 70s art house movie
while drinking like
a rare
pint of beer
something
that costs like $12.
He's been busy staying in shape all day, but he can't handle an uncomfortable chair. Whatever. But some of that's between us.
To Death Angel Shadow, just go out and buy it, dude. It'll be a fun read, and if you start running it, you're not gonna remember everything. You're not. And whatever your game master ends up doing with it, it's going to be different. Like one of the things I really like, Chubby's game is radically different from mine. And that's not just because of the content, but also our play styles, I'm sure, are very different. So,
it's a true sandbox.
Yeah, it is.
So it's really like whatever your players really do run this style of what. Honestly, what do you compare this to? Is there ever, Rob? I want to say when you do something, in this style of campaign or whatever, who else has done something like this big?
I mean, a few have. I mean, I feel like my mega dungeon is about 608 pages, which is compared to some out there pretty small.
Yeah,
and 660. What Dwemer mounts, huge. Ardenpool, obviously 1100 bay, right? There's a bunch of them out there that are bigger than my mega dungeon, but I think what makes mine unique is that it has a really detailed wilderness and then the underworld, which I've only seen a few products do what I did with the underworld, because I basically modeled it on that product because they did such a great job, and it was one of my favorite models I ever ran. I guess and that's the Vault of Laren Carr, by the way, if you've never. Laren, Larin Carr, Karr. It's a Necromancer game, I guess Frog God product now, but it's wonderful wonderful adventure, and that's what inspired me to do that's why I ended up having to break up the volume, because I was like, I gotta put an underworld in there that connects to everything.
Yeah.
I just gotta, idiot I was, but whatever, it was great, it turned out great, I was really pleased with it. But yeah, I mean, like, it's, I don't know very many that are that detailed, like, like, I mean, obviously, like Forgotten Realms, right? There's tons of books out there, like thousands upon thousand pages, but it's all the setting stuff. Like, a lot of it isn't like a detailed, like, like a gameable, like, adventure site. I mean, there's a lot of adventures for Forgotten Realms. I'm sure if you cobbled them all together, you could make something enormous. But you know what I'm saying? Like, a lot of it's like a setting book where it mentions the town, has a couple of hooks, says something about goblins in the hills, and then that's it. And you're supposed to build it. And like, I wanted to make it where, and this is what I've always been annoyed with as a referee / player, is that I would buy these big box sets, these big products, and I'd be blown away by them, and I'd love them, but I'd always feel like they were like incomplete, or there's somewhere they would cut corners because of product size, probably totally reasonable business decisions. But to me, it was like, like, why didn't I, I want a little bit more. I like less. I would rather have more than less, and not need it. You know what I mean? That whole like, and I guess, like, I was just like, I want to have it where it's, there's an area for growth, like you wanting to drop in a module, but I wanted it where all the core stuff is there and it's pretty fleshed out, and you can change it if you want, like, that's the beauty of it, but like, I've done a lot of cool things where, like, it wasn't in the product, like Rapanathuk, do something with the orca sites, and like, a lot more backstory than there is in the thing, and would have a lot of fun with it. But sometimes I was like, I wish that there was something a little bit more in a lot of these products. Talus by Monty Cook is huge. It's a giant city that's totally detailed, that has tons of dungeons under and above it. I would say that's probably similar, because it's a region in a world, and it has both settlements, and it has a people, and it has culture, and it has dungeons, and it's very, very detailed. There are some areas where he's like, you can build your own, and gives you kind of like rando rules for that, but a lot of areas there that are totally detailed. And so I feel like there's a lot. I mean, obviously Ardenvool is a massive, enormously detailed dungeon.
Oh yeah, yeah.
Anathuk doesn't have, like, it's got the wilderness and it's got the dungeon, right, which is enormous, and has tons. You kind of have to add on Bard's Gate, another product, but you can, and that's how I always ran it. So, but it's kind of implied that you got to kind of make up what's beyond the map, if that's all you have, and you don't have their what is it their official setting product, which I'm blanking on the name right now, but you know what I mean? Like, so I guess I just wanted a complete product that had enough there, that had everything there, that you could have a town, you could have wilderness, you could have undercrawl, whatever it is you like. And tons of dungeons out there that are smaller, and then the one mega thing. And so I think that's what's special about my setting is not just the sheer amount of content, and that it's all interconnected, which really is what makes me really proud of Volume 3 now. As some of my backers who've actually read a lot of it now, who are going through it really fast, I guess they're off for the holidays, and they're seeing, like, a lot of stuff that you saw in 1 and 2 is coming full circle in a really cool way. And I really put a lot of work into tying up loose ends and trying to, like, really make it a pleasure, not just pleasurable to read, but then for the players to experience if they get that far. And the castle is just, I mean, it's not the biggest mega dungeon, but I built it twice. I built it once as if it were 20 years ago when the Skull God lived there, so that everything actually had a purpose before it, he vanished. And then I went back and I redesigned it as if 20 years had gone by and what would have happened. So, like,
yeah.
It's a lot of work, but it makes it feel lived in, I think.
Yeah.
And it makes it feel like that. And then, of course, it's all attached to the huge lore document and everything that I've got.
Yeah.
I'm, like, and that's kind of what I was trying to do now. But anyway, it's I'm really proud of it. I at this point, I don't care what reviewers say. I used to, like, dagger to the heart, someone would hit you. Now I'm just like, no, I don't care. I love it. It's exactly what I want. If everyone hates it, whatever.
Yeah, well, that's a good attitude to have, I think, number one. But going back to you said about like the box set, like I absolutely adored to this. I mean, this like it's like a core memory for me is picking up the first edition Forgotten Realms box set.
No, so good.
You open it up. I remember the smell of the particular paper they used. Like it was like this awesome thing. Like, oh, it's the Forgotten Realms, dude. Because they're like realms, but they're forgotten, Whoa, let's roll some dice. But like all that stuff was great to read, but I had so much time to fill in what the heck the goblins were doing in the hills or whatever.
Yeah.
Now I don't have that time. And being able to just like no prep. I mean, I'm not trying to advocate no prep as like a superior form of play or anything like that, but being able to just go, I have no idea what my players are going to do tomorrow. Where you guys want to go? What hex is that? Okay, let's go. You know what I mean? And it's all right there. And the lore that you put in is not really all that overwhelming. I've read it. I got it in my head. I know who the good guys are. I know who the bad guys are, and I can go and I can just do it. So it is something that to be proud of because it is gameable and it is like I don't know what's the word I'm looking for, but it's gameable. It's fun to read. It's all around just a great product, man. So everyone should go out and buy it.
Which is why we're going to keep asking you whether you want to tell us or not about what's next, because Chubby had said something about Gods of the Forbidden East, which I think would be a great idea, especially.
Well, I wouldn't.
I mean, I don't know if you can get away with it these days, but if you did like some sort of like Eastern Japanese kung fu, that'd be awesome. Anyway, just saying.
Dude, I have a. Sorry, man. Go ahead.
No. You go, Rob.
I was gonna say. I one of my 6 or 7 paths of the warrior I'm considering is my very own system of basically like genre pulp stuff, like where I love samurai, movies, like cowboy movies. I've always wanted to do a samurai cowboy mashup, like that would be a total vanity. But that would be really fun, and I want to have a system that actually is designed for it. I don't want to use. I don't think as a business move it's very smart. That's
well, yeah. What is that?
But I don't like being a businessman, to be honest with you. So
well, the thing is, though, is after you do something like Gods of the Forbidden North is so great because it has an overall general appeal to it, right? Like the look of it, it's familiar, but it's really, really good familiar. You know what I mean? And then there's twists, they're in there. But I think you've earned the right to do a vanity. Like I really think you should just do whatever it is, that keeps you moving. And if it happens to be samurais and cowboys, fuck yeah, dude. That would be badass.
Yeah.
Let's do it.
Yeah.
Well, you said you did mention you said something about my own system.
Yeah, no, I've got a few. I have 2 systems that I've kind of made, but like I said, I don't know if that's the smartest. I have so much bandwidth, so I'm. Like, there's a part of me that's like, you know what, Rob, just do things like the clown way of like, I'm just going to do it. I don't care about business stuff, and I'm just going to go create what I want. Woohoo! Yeah, that's very appealing to me because I have ADHD, and that's exactly what I love to do.
Right.
But like, this has been the most disciplined I've been in life in terms of that kind of stuff. And look what I made, and I'm very proud of it. So I kind of want to think and like, what's the right thing to do. I've got a lot of ideas and there's not enough time on the earth to do them all. So
right.
Yeah.
There's like I said before, there's a part of me that doesn't even want to do any more tabletop. There's a part of me that wants to go and do something different. I want to write screenplays and I want to pitch big studios and I want to get a Netflix or whatever special, and do stuff that brings my kind of taste in fantasy to a different audience.
That would be awesome.
But I mean, like, that'd be starting from scratch.
Yeah.
So, the
Forbidden North as a Netflix series. Come on, Rob, make it happen. Don't you know someone? Let's go.
I got a pitch. a group of mercenaries come off a boat and they form the Iron Price. I'll sell you the rights. I'll sell you the rights. We'll talk after the stream. No, I do as
One
a
of them is
guy.
named at Moston. The pro tag.
Yeah.
His sidekick, Larry Lewis.
No, he's a halfling. He's got to be a halfling. What was I going to say? Oh, I think the fact that you're thinking in those terms is actually really good. Because when I started like goofing around in this industry, is just like, oh, I'm going to do whatever, whatever, and I've made tens of dollars. So, and here you, and it's fun, but like I'm not trying to really start a business. I'm just kind of having fun. But I think you've definitely built some street cred, right? I think you definitely do. And while I do agree with Gary, you've earned the right to kind of do something vanity. I think your next step should be something that you think is gonna propel what you're doing forward. You know what I mean? Like, and really, I don't what's the word I'm looking for? Not outshine your initial trilogy, but be a worthy successor. Does that make sense? Yeah. So I don't know. Keep thinking about it, man. Don't rush. You've earned the right to just sit
and we said,
and
but
relax.
Let's face it, man. We sound so greedy. Rob, come on, dude. What are you doing next, Rob?
No, it's
fucking get to work, man.
That's cool.
What are you doing sitting here doing this interview? You should be writing something.
I'm out of here. I'm gonna write. The Iron Price. That's right.
Yeah. Fantastic. Thank you. That was funny.
So while you're not writing, what do you want to play?
Me?
Yeah.
Oh,
what are you going to be playing, man? Let's talk.
Yeah. There you go.
All right, I got a couple. I'm like, I was telling myself, this is something I was like, you earned some sort of game. You're gonna get a game going with someone randomly.
Hell yeah.
On your server somewhere. You're gonna pull them in. You're gonna do something. I was thinking like a post-apocalyptic. I love that stuff. That's fun. But then I was also thinking like, it'd be fun to do like. There's just so many games I own and I haven't gotten to play. And I've been reading a lot of people like around the internet who don't realize like I follow them like fans and stuff. And like they'll be like, I ran 12 games this year, and they're like, I ran 17, and they list them off, and I'm like, I ran 0.
Yeah.
I'm like, I really need to run some of these games, like I want to run some of these games, man.
So you want to run and not play?
Either one. That's
either one.
Either one. Yeah. It would be fun to play some games. That was actually been nice. I haven't gotten to play like because stuff kept getting in the way, but I got to play with Chubb and like just relax and not be the referee. That was cool. I played at the conventions, and obviously I was usually running the games, but sometimes I wasn't. And it's just fun to be around gamers and just like
absolutely
take the hat off and just be a player again. It's kind of fun. And die and laugh. And,
Dude, when you play, your characters are suicidal. It's not like some OSR thing where your 10-foot pole didn't touch the wire. You know what I mean? It's like, okay, what if I just jump on him from height? Would that be enough to kill him? Anyway, so.
No, well, that's more like I'm just in. I knew the session was almost over, and we're at a convention.
Yeah, exactly.
Like, that
was so much fun.
I would have bet an epic death too.
So, I really want to put together a Stars Without Number game, Rob. I really
do it, man.
But I need 5. Well, here's what I need.
I need 5. I need 18.
I need 5 players. I need 5 players that will each take the role of like captain, engineer, right, gunner, all that. And I need to, if we're gonna like, it's got to be almost a project, like Alexander Macris says, in his book. Yes, it's a hobby. Yes, we're gonna have fun, but this is a project, and we're all working on it together. and I'm so gun shy about doing a sandbox kind of thing. And just the internet, man. People, they come and they go, and they come and they go. So, but if who well, you can send me a message. Who should we invite? Who would play?
Who's watching right now? That
Who's
one
watching
who's
right
willing
now?
to
Bacon
man
says I'm
Bacon
in.
says he's in. Yep.
Let's do this. We're gonna
You,
talk
me,
right now.
Bacon. Yeah, I'll tell you more about it. Hey, actually, that thing, this would be great because I am neck deep in everything stars without number right now. So hold on. We need 5 autistic players. Yes, that is what we need. Thank you, Warp Spots. You know, back when we were kids, they never like I don't think they tested for autism or anything like that.
No.
And I'm around a young person with autism quite a bit in my life right now. And I look at his habits and I look at my habits and I think to myself, I might have a little bit of that
I just discovered that ADHD like a year ago was like a cousin. They're like,
yeah.
I didn't know anything. I didn't know anything much about it. And my dad's got ADHD, my brother, and like my brother was the only one who was diagnosed for a long time. But my dad turned to me once, and when my brother was young, was like, I've got it. And so I heard that whole like thing of like, well, it's not really a thing, and they're just making up. It's just boy behavior, and that's actually what I believed for like 20 something years until like I got diagnosed, and then I started like looking into it, and I was just like, wow, this explains so much. Like, and I was reading the research and stuff, and it was just kind of blew my head, like about like, how much I didn't know about it. And anyway, it just,
I don't know, man. I honestly wonder sometimes if I have one kid who's definitely some ADHD, right? Like there's no doubt. But we'll have these times where he'll just be outside all day. And like I think he'd be perfect for 500 years ago, right? Like he would be the perfect kid for a few hundred years back. And I'm just not sure we're built to sit in desks 8 hours a day and focus on little screens and all that,
I mean, there's something to that. I think I think they get conflated in my opinion, but I mean, like I started taking my medicine, and so a little backstory about me. I only did short flash fiction and poetry because I couldn't concentrate on anything longer than a few pages.
Mhm.
After I took my med, I mean, some of my behaviors and stuff changed a little bit because of the medicine, but like I pumped out a 1,600-page adventure that had a through line, multiple through lines. Like when I say I couldn't do it, like I couldn't do it. And
no, I hear you.
I now that like I said, I'm not like an expert or anything, but like I've read a lot about it. I used to think that it was just BS and that it was just a thing that they labeled, but I now actually have read a lot of it. I'm like, oh, I know it's really a thing, and it's really like a small percentage of the population actually that truly have it. Anyway, it's just my medicine. I told my brother, dude, you got to get back on your medicine. It's why you're where you're at in your life, dude. Like it does change you in some ways that aren't great. But I lost 20 pounds too. I used to be nice. Big. So, but
hey, actually, real quick, I want to go back just a little bit.
Yeah, sorry, we got way off.
Yeah, we had some questions. We were talking.
You guys are fun, man.
Talking stars without number. Oh, what is riveting. Fucking game talk. Sorry about that. My bad. Chubby said, "When is my attention gonna flit away to something new?" When my players flit away to something new. You know what I mean? I've got this game that we're gonna get started up again on Tuesday that doesn't really require a ton of prep. It's an easy D6 game, it's RP heavy. I already kind of have everything in my head. I don't need to worry about it. When you start a sandbox game, I mean, it's all about, are people gonna show up for it? If they're there, I'm there. And when they're not there anymore, I'm going to start looking for something new. I mean, that's really the way it works. For me, Chubby, anyway.
I also want to run a Delta Green game.
That looks so good.
I have this whole conspiracy theory about the hum. Have you ever heard of the hum? Mm-mm. So there's this phenomenon called the hum where like if you listen really carefully, there's this hum in the earth. It's like, go look it up. It's the hum. I think all you want to know. All you want to know. So I thought that was a really cool idea that there's a sound only some people can hear, and they can't stop hearing it. And I had this whole monologue that's like really kind of like pleasant and gets really creepy. And I was gonna like start that out as the opening of my game and like let's Delta Green this shit. Everyone's gonna go insane or die.
Nice.
Ah,
Nice.
So that's another one I want to run really bad.
yeah.
So sounds like fun, you know.
No, that's a game I've looked at a few times, and like I've almost bought that game 10 times last year. You know, so yeah, I know, I'm the worst about that.
Oh,
Yeah.
Delta Green Swan.
what?
Fantastic. That was
Oh,
fantastic.
oh,
Oh, fantastic. Let's see.
that
I
was
did
great.
have this is another Gods of the Forbidden North
Nothing to
question
see
from
here.
Chubby. Whoop, I lost it. I'll have to find it again. Anyway, Chubby was asking about the one of the cults in Valkengard that I think Counselor Vornagar is in charge of. I can't remember the name of the cult.
The smiling
How?
cloth.
Yes, the Smiling Cloth, and how I introduced them. Well, what I did was, they're looking for the Book of Morkal as well, and they got a rumor that someone was willing to buy it, and they just had to meet him outside of town. They saw through that immediately, and I had Vornagar himself let them know, like, hey, that's really dangerous book. You should give it to us, blah, 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 blah. We'll get rid of it. And they were like, no, we're going to keep it. Fast forward, all this stuff is happening with the Null Kill Syndicate. And I'm rolling on the Axe passive income chart for their bar, and they rolled a patron, which increases the return on investment by 33% for 1d6 months, and they ended up rolling a 6. And so I'm like, it's going to be Counselor Vornagar. So I can't say much more, but Counselor Vornagar is like in good with the iron price, and he's going to get his hands on that book one way or the other. I'll just say that. But they have not really been too concerned about his followers at this point, but they are aware that this guy is interested in the book. So we'll see how that turns out.
Funny creator aside, he was supposed to be like a major bad guy, like kind of the major bad guy for a long time, and then it shifted after in the creative process. But
Yeah,
this guy named Vornagar, he was like supposed to be this.
it's a cool name, right? Like
Yeah.
when I saw it, like, and then his backstory, I'm like, this makes total sense.
That's why he's so developed, and then like nothing. Just moved away. I mean, there's stuff that goes on. He could become, yada yada yada, but
Yeah,
like that was actually what happened with it. There was like this whole thing where I was gonna, it didn't happen.
Sounds like it worked out.
It did,
So,
yeah.
Delta Green. Go back to that though. I have never played it, but it has been one of those I've always wanted to try, because it's based off of Call of Cthulhu, right?
Yeah, it's like I think they took one of the versions at some point and they diverged, right? Isn't that what happened? And
Yeah.
they have some things that are slightly like flipped or different, but it's the same number wise somehow. Like I'd have to go look at it's not a game I played a ton of, but I read all the books and stuff, But it's fun. It's the presentation of it's what really gets me a lot of times is they make it look like like it feels like you're flipping through X-Files, like
Sure. Yeah.
and the way they, the only thing that I think the thing about for me that's made me not play it is because I always feel like I should have actually been a spook to understand enough to do it. Like I have to go brush up on X-Files or something like way more before I'm ready, like because it just seems like you got to be really like you can't be stupid and run that game.
Right.
I have way too much UFO shit in my feed.
Yeah.
Like if you turn on my YouTube feed, it's all the stuff. Like there's this section of things they think I'm gonna like because I turned 50. It's amazing the shit they send you, right? And then it's guitar, and alien UFO conspiracies. They're here. I'm convinced Delta Green is training. It would be like how to root them out. I might know. Hold on. Anyway, I just saw my name up there and got distracted. Delta Green looks like a lot of fun, but I would have to run that game. You know what I mean? Because I feel like I would call out a GM. No, that's not the way it works. You know, that's not
Get
the way
that one
these things-
FBI player who doesn't tell you, and then he starts like, "Damn it, just take
Yeah,
the
for
game.
sure.
Take it. It's yours."
Yeah, it's too. I'm too plugged into that. I shouldn't play that game. It wouldn't be good for me.
I ran
So-
a D20 modern game that was kind of rooted in like X-Files, like
Yeah.
and that I really liked D20 modern. It was like really the only third edition S game that I really enjoyed. I thought the design was really cool.
Yeah.
I loved you could just play a strong, tough, smart,
Yeah,
charismatic character, but we had a blast with it. I had an psychic FBI agent. We had a computer hacker dude. It was great. And I basically had like 3 or 4 conspiracies at play at one time, and it was just a matter of which one the players wanted to interact with. So one of them obviously was aliens, but I also had an AI that had gotten sentient, became sentient and broke out. So and our computer hacker was talking with it, and at one point he goes, "Guys, I think there's an AI loose in the system."
guys.
And like but it's friendly, I think. We never finished that campaign, but it was fun. It was fun.
Yeah, no, that's I got a couple friends that are really into the modern and the spycraft, and I read those books. I never really got to play some of them, but we did do a modern game once that was really a lot of fun. And it's nice to change up the genres, And the very first game I ever played was actually other than like a true role playing game, not like Hero Quest, was Shadowrun, second edition.
Oh, really?
Yeah, it was the very first game I ever played. So that was very huge impact on me. I remember because I was a decker with like a shotgun, a pump shotgun. I don't know why. I just made it because I thought it sounded cool. At one point, like there was some orc or something that did something we're supposed to kill, and I kicked some glass open and like jumped out the window, broke my leg. Tried to take him out with a pump shotgun, and then like he somehow got away, but he got clipped. It was so much fun. That was a big imagination day. I remember I was like 12 or 13 playing that, but anyway.
Well, that was you said that was your first game. I left D&D real quick as a kid. Like the Star Wars D6 game came out, then Marvel happened, and then Shadowrun, and and I think that's probably why I read so many different game systems. But fantasy's fine. It's there's really good fantasy I enjoy. It's just not my favorite. I really like sci-fi or something modern. And I think the best role-playing games are fantasy. For whatever reason, I can't figure it out. I can't suss it out. It's just like the best RPG is still old school D&D.
Yeah. I didn't really branch out from D&D for a while. It wasn't until I was a little bit more mobile. Like I didn't have to ask my mom to take me to the gaming store. I had a license, so I can go myself, and that's when I just go and I'd peruse through the books.
You'd pull your belt up. All right, taking myself to the
Yep. Make sure you're back by 9. I'm like, yeah, okay.
Store, folks.
Get my Little Caesars money, and then but one of the games I fell in love with in the 90s was first edition 7th Sea. Like that was the first time I really played like a dice pool system.
Yeah.
And the world building in that was fantastic. Like you just got sucked in like that, much like Gods of the Mid-North. Like I just would read it for fun. Like just like, wow, this is fantastic. And then we'd play that, and you had like all these great sword styles, and then the weird magic system. And similarly to like the way Macris recommends you design your campaign, you have like the immediate threat, like the politics of the Renaissance era, but then there's this weird existential shit from the secret societies that's happening, and like depending on what book you read, you wouldn't really know what's going on. But if you're the game master and you've read it all, you know what's going on, and it is freaking frightening. Like they had a secret society just for game masters called Ovis. What is it? The New World Order, whatever it is in Latin. And yeah, I spent the money and I got the special book, and I was like, oh man, I love that game. I love that game to death. But for the most part, I played D&D most of my gaming life.
It was weird. I guess like I took a funny turn because I kind of skipped all the traditional fantasy when I got into doing it myself. Like I did the Shadowrun, and I did that for a few months, and then I moved, and the people around me played D&D. They all played regular D&D, but they wouldn't let me in their game. The hell is that? It sounds like a gun. Holy shit. Oh, okay. Well, not my problem. Anyway, as I was saying, forgot. So I kind of skipped. You know, like remember back in the day, you go to the bookstore, and there'd be like all the AD&D second editions that have like the lines of each product, like you did Forgotten Realms, Greyhawk, you know, whatever.
Yeah.
And I figured like I had to. I watched all the older kids, and they all had like a system or like a setting they were into, and I was like, oh, that's what I'm supposed to do. Right? Like I'm supposed to pick one. So I read the back of each one, and the one that caught my attention for some reason, probably because it was strange and different, and I'd never seen anyone have it, was Planescape. And I bought that Planescape box set, brand new. Oh my God, dude, Matt, Gary, at one point I had all the books, you know, like they were a collector item, and I sold them for pennies on the dollar.
Oh,
I kill over everything I've owned. I kill myself over that. Those books, I mean, whatever people want to say about Planescape, some people hate it, some people love it. I would just sit there all day, 14 years old, with those books open, and like would stare out the window and imagine, because that was a crazy line. Like
yeah, I remember that.
Oh my God!
The art was great. Yeah.
Oh my God, Tony DiTerlizzi, like,
yep.
I really wanted so bad to hire him. It would have been a dream come true to hire him to do just like one piece for like Gods of Forbidden North, but like I was like, I don't think he'd fit, and he probably would never talk to me.
Yeah.
You know, I don't know, man. You never know. You never know.
I really wanted him to do one piece, and like just, oh man, I was like, it's black and white, so he's probably, you know, but like that artwork, dude. Oh my gosh.
Oh, it was evocative. Yeah.
You know, and you don't see all the flaws in design when you're a kid. You just the worlds that come out of your head. You know, like imagination, like you were saying, you would just read and just, oh my gosh, like that to me, like when I found out about Orchid, you know, spoiler if you haven't, where have you been? This is the 90s. Like the bad guy, and they built it up over multiple products. I fell in love with Monty Cook's work, and it was actually really cool. One of the things, actually, Gary, and it probably will never happen, but it's something that it's on my radar, is one of the things, if you read one of the products, the Eternal Boundary, and they mention it in a few other products too. They talk about the Isle of Black Trees, and it's supposed to be this legendary place. They never tell you what the hell it is. They just, the Isle of Black Trees. That image of some sort of demi-plane with black trees or something, and I don't know what it's about. I've wanted to do that, to fill it in. And so I reached out one day, never thinking he'd respond on X, on Twitter. And Monty Cook replied to me and said, nobody ever did anything with it. You know, we had plans, but we just, you know, let it go. It's yours if you want to go run with it. I was like, what? So I was actually thinking at one point, volume 4, so to speak, unofficially, would be Isle of Black Trees. We're going to the plains, baby. Like that was
nice.
That was literally why. And I still think that sometimes.
That's awesome. Well, you know, it's funny going back to like some of the earlier stuff. You know, that Forgotten Realms box set, they had this like timeline, and it went from way back in the beginning to present day, and then stuff that was supposed to be coming down the road. And I'm just reading through it. My buddy's playing some video game. I can't remember what it was. It was like this I don't know, some RTS, pre-RTS type game. But anyway, I think it was Vandal Hearts or something. I can't remember. Anyway, so he's playing and I'm just reading, and then I'm looking, and there's this one sentence that said, "The Ring of Winter is found." And I'm flipping through the book. What's the Ring of Winter? What is that? What is that? What is that? Nothing. Boom. Like just something exploded that turned into
Oh, there he goes.
a 10-year campaign
Oh wow!
from the 90s. The Ring. But yeah, it turned into a 10-year campaign. I just turned it into all these
Wow.
things that are happening all across the Forgotten Realms. But it's that kind of thing. Like sometimes you don't need everything explained.
No,
just leave enough.
no, you're right.
I used to love the Gazetteers because I was the dork that played basic D&D. I still think it's great. I don't give a fuck.
Great.
I love box sets.
Awesome.
I'm not turning against it anyway. But remember the Gazetteers? They were at one point. I feel like they were coming out every 3 months.
Yeah.
You know, that probably wasn't when they were at their best, because I do think the best of them were like that first, 5 to 8. Anyway, but I remember just looking at the picture and I'd skim the words. I didn't even, oh, Yularum, what's that? Oh, that's great. I can use that, and you just really, it was the cover. It was the cover of everything and the maps. Oh, it's right next to this. All I needed to know was that halflings were hunted because they were immune to magic, or they had magic. That's all I needed to know. That was a year, me and my friends. That was 7th grade. Nobody ever said they were tired of playing halflings either. Just so y'all know, everybody was very happy in an all halfling party. Anyway, go ahead. I love the Gazetteers.
Iron Fight. The Iron Fight. Yeah.
That's what I'm looking for, Rob. I'm looking for someone like you or Chubby to do some kind of monthly or bi-monthly like magazine that's just setting and monsters and dungeons.
Wow.
And it needs to have a cool cover like the Gazetteers. And the Gazetteers all work the same. Hot chick up front, right? Action hero in the back. Yeah. Fuck yeah, dude. Chicken chainmail bikini. Action hero in the back. And an important NPC of some type in the left-hand upper corner. And a map in the background. There you go. You could sell those for years, bro. That's what I'm waiting for. If not you, Chubby. Why don't you and Chubby gang up? Anyway, sorry.
We'll gang up on you, Gary.
Probably so. People are vulnerable to visual stimuli. It's one of our weaknesses. You are correct. If you put hot chicks and chainmail bikinis on the cover of your RPG magazine, I am more likely to buy it than if you don't. Absolutely.
If you put black trees in the background and little twinkling stars,
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah.
I might be on board.
Well, speaking of book,
that does sound cool though. That's really popping now. The Zines, the Zines, whatever they say.
Well, I wanted to. I'll just sort of shill this a little bit because I'm friends with the guy. But Mad Scribe magazine, I mean, it's got articles that he has cosplay chicks in there. He's constantly finding them. It's a quarterly zine though, magazine. I put a couple articles in there over the past like 2 years, but I'd like to think that sort of thing is coming back, because I mean you can have a blog or Substack or whatever, but I think having something like you can kind of physical, I don't know. I just sort of feel like that's, I don't know.
Hey, Chubby. Chubby says it is much easier to talk about releasing a magazine every few months than to actually write one. Hey, Chubby, I would agree with you. Notice I didn't say I want a magazine. I said I want people with talent to produce a magazine, some sort of gazetteer setting. Wait, and I say that because I'm really enjoying. I'm gonna bring it up. Drink. Curse Scrolls. I think those magazines are great, and I've been reading through them here.
Well, to do another little shill, Flint, who's in chat, he's got something that he's got like a bundle of all the zines that I believe they're all part of his world. So they're out there.
And I think he does those in like you can print them and staple them into little books too. Like
Yeah.
you can actually make them, which is nice. So
I thought it was interesting when we were at North Texas. I went to that event with, I don't know if you guys went, the one with Finch and Matt Finch and Kelsey Dion.
Yeah, we missed that. Yeah.
So it was for public. Like I went there and like there was a bunch of publishers in the room. There were also some fans there that showed up, and like one of the things that she was talking about was really neat. Was she talked about how they were both talking about like what kind of products sell and why certain types of products sell more. Like high level adventures are the worst selling ones because very few games get that far, that kind of stuff. And like systems sell the most, and then like settings sell next, and then yada 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 is like a pecking order. One of the things that she was saying was kind of really caught my attention was that she was saying that the one of the ways to like avoid the, oh my god, I need all these books and have this massive splat book like deluge, is to do a core book. And this is basically what her model was, and she was going to use a core book, which like she does, really slick, slim, covers the basics, gets it done, and then turns around and releases these magazines which are like, they have her, the creator, releasing like, a paladin class, which isn't like in this, or a bard class, which isn't in the main core, but it's from her. So it's like, it's viewed as sort of being like authentic, but it's not official because it's in this magazine versus say like she came out with the player's guide too. You know what I mean? Like, and it was like a way for her to say like, essentially like you're not mandating that this is officially the rules. It can be sort of ignored. And there was a psychology behind it, and that was why she was doing what she was doing. And it was really fascinating to listen because I'd never looked into that stuff before. So
Right.
but that kind of was really fascinating tidbit. I don't know if you've ever heard her write about that, or I only heard it in the talk, but I'd never heard anyone say that before or since, and that was really interesting to me. But anyway, that was interesting.
well, I think that's something that when I see her on different shows and someone asks her, what about this, or are you going to do that? A lot of her answers seem to be, well, I like, I'm doing this. She's, I love her scrolling. It's a lot easier. So they're not going to know about the paladin class. So you can introduce it if you want to, have to, you know what I mean? And that really those are really written for the GM. That is one thing, is that that's a GM focused product. It's not like,
I
hey,
would agree with
players,
that.
come get all this new equipment and
Right.
all that kind of stuff. So
Yeah.
I think it works. So what I hear you say is, got good magazine. Leave dungeon, couple NPCs, and I think he should take it in small bits. I don't think it should be like, I'm not trying to saddle you with, I need 1,800 more pages. I'm just, 10, 15 pages a month, Rob.
I just want to point out, I'm trying to respect your creative space, and I am keeping my mouth shut out of the stuff that I would like to see you do.
Oh, Rob, if Chubby put up with almost 8 months of me petitioning for him to write a Western game, a Red Dead Redemption game, using Shadow Dark. And I finally stopped bugging him about it. Finally, because I understand it's not very marketable, even if it would be a masterpiece of tabletop role playing history.
It's about the art.
Yeah, I'm sure there are other considerations. Yeah.
No, it's like being a poet, dude. You're like, I published all these places. How much money do you have? Zero.
Yeah.
I got a $20 Starbucks card once.
Yeah. Yeah. Like I said, I've made tens of dollars. But yeah. Okay, I'm just gonna throw this out there.
You guys can ask whatever, if I don't have an answer.
I just really want to see. I just would really like to see what the fall of the Hadean Empire would look like.
Interesting.
That's what I would like to see. And now, part of that is because I built it up in my head and the way I've like presented it to my friends. But Tetherian is just such a small section, and it didn't really it didn't really hit home until something Chubby put out where, like, I think it was something on X where he took, like, I think it was that map and put it like on Europe or whatever, and it's like this one small little section of Europe, and you're just like, oh my god, there's so much more that could be out there. So that's what I would like to see. But hey, you know what? You keep thinking about your next move, because I think you put in a good 9.5 years of time, and which is an investment that will be paying off soon. Like you said, there is a lag. People are talking about volume one now. They'll be talking about volume two and eventually volume three. And so,
Yeah, no, I mean, like I said, I've got several. I mean, I've been pretty public with a lot of the ideas. I mean, some of the paths that I've got, one of them is like to do a conversion because it's like easy money and there's a demand. And the conversion is like, which one do you do? And it's basically, I took a poll in my Discord not long ago, a few months ago, and it was like 40% wanted me to do Shadow Dark, 20% wanted 5e, and then everybody else was not worth mentioning. And so, I mean, I've thought about both very deeply. I've looked at both. I've looked at the advantages, the cons. Like, if I did a conversion, that I would do one of those two systems. There's pros and cons to both. I've thought about doing Overlords of Steel and just doing another old school Essentials book. I'd like to go do the Haitian Empire. I'd like to show what it's like. I'd like to show more about the Imperials, because I always kind of envision them as being like these Spartan Roman mixed with like full samurai gear somehow. Like, so I was gonna have a real special artist do just what I was thinking in my head, but I've got a lot of ideas, and like a lot of the world is still in my head that I want to build up. But the question is there's a lot of questions, like this depends on this depends on that, this depends on that, et cetera. And it's all kind of like, well, if you want to do these things, how would that go? And you start doing the logistics and like the amount of time required, and you go, well, I can't do all of these things, like, or in anytime soon. And so you start kind of going, what do I have the energy for? Because I still have a career, like I have a job, and my career,
right.
my career took a kind of a hit this last 6-12 months to finish this book. I was kind of, I was dying, man. I was drowning. I was supposed to be done with the book by the end of summer, and it just didn't get there, and I worked 12+ hour days, just nonstop. You saw me, Gary, working at the lab. I was screwing. I mean, I've
Oh,
been
dude,
working
I stopped
for years.
texting you and calling you. Like there was a point where we were communicating about once or twice a week, and I could feel it over the phone, man. I could really feel it coming down. I was like, you know what, dude, I'm gonna text this guy about every 2 or 3 weeks just to let him know that I'm still alive and I'm still thinking about him. But like, I made a conscious decision to leave you alone because you were working hard. Like it was.
I like, just to put them in perspective. I have a lot of free time now because I'm not working on the book. But like, I never did my taxes last year.
Whoops.
I didn't have time. I spent yesterday answering emails for 4 hours. I don't have the money to pay somebody to do it for me, like, and that was all Kickstarter related, and that was just one day of that. And like, I had twice the workload at my university. Like, a university teach 2 to 4 classes. I was teaching 8
Holy shit.
up this semester, and I was trying to work on this book, and my students have gotten incredibly demanding. I don't know why. They've never been in the past. All of them had to meet this semester. All of them wanted me to go over yada yada yada. Like, it's just like, I mean, I was really like getting my ass kicked this semester. I don't think people understand like how much I worked. I couldn't have done it without my medicine. I'll put it that way. I, a lot of people I just didn't talk to for months who are my good friends because I just didn't have time.
Yeah.
And I basically self-insulated just to finish it. And I mean, I think the work speaks to that. I think it's the best work I did of the three. I felt each book was progressively better. I was getting sharper. I was switching from what I used to writing to this. It took a lot of work. It took a lot of creative energy. I expended so much energy it's like I felt like I was catching up for 20 years working on this. So like, and there's a lot more I have, but I gotta like kind of just say, okay, all right, let's take a little break. I mean, last year, for example, when I launched Volume 3, I put on a public face. I'm not one of those people who comes on the thing and goes, I'm struggling with depression, guy. Like that you see a lot nowadays.
Yeah.
I don't do that. I'm like the guy who's like, nope, nothing wrong.
Right.
I'm like, what, I mean, I was trying to fulfill one project while launching another one and starting my work semester, which I just can't tell you how much work that was. Like, it's enormous. It's gotten to the point where it's unmanageable. The number of people, if 20 people reach out to you a day, and then you get all the other stuff you get, like and those are all questions that require a long thought out response. You just, and I can't think on the scale of other creators who have a much larger fan base, the Gavins and the, the Kelseys and the, yada. I just can't imagine how they deal with it. I'm assuming they don't. Because I couldn't see doing this full time. It's a lot. Like, know.
Well, you're very, Rob, and it's kind of to your credit, but at the same time, if you continue to do stuff like this, you're gonna have to rein it in a bit. You're so accessible as a creator. Like
that is true.
Way too many, and probably including myself, way too many people have your phone number and just feel comfortable just fucking like, wonder what Rob's doing. Yep. Hey man, you know what I mean? And I think that there definitely, comes a time when, I know you're thinking about your.
I'm a professor, so like I give my phone, and my colleagues don't even do this, but I give my phone number to any of my students. Like, and I'm like, you guys can text me whenever you want. That's what I tell them. You text me whenever you want. If I'm not awake, I just want to answer. I'm not going to view it as being rude. That's what it's for. And like, I just kind of naturally started doing the same exact thing because that's what you like you just kind of fall to your. I think at one point I just put not even thinking about my cell phone number in like one of my Kickstarter like messages. Like,
oh God.
1,600 people, and one guy sends me a text and he goes, it was so funny. He goes, I'm just checking. Is this really Rob? He doesn't say who it is, like, and I'm like, hey, what's up, man? And he's like, he didn't say anything else.
Everybody give it up for Rob. Hey, I've been giving up, serious question for Rob. If you could go back and rethink how you structure your time business, what would you do differently?
I would have done two main things. The first main thing I would have done is I would have taken my entire work and broken it up into 12 volumes that were smaller. And I would have slowly, with no little pressure, built up, what I've been doing. That's what I would probably, instead of taking on this massive thing. I don't know why I did that when I've never even done a small. I don't know. Just maybe I had to prove to myself that I could
go big or go home, Gary. I'm gonna give that back to you. Sorry. The rest of your life, you walk around tired. Go big or go home.
Yeah, but you know what? I don't know if it would have been as successful. A bunch of 12. You know what I mean? Because I mean, this is a complete campaign setting.
I agree. I think the success of it does have people like their big books. I'm an anomaly. I want little box sets and small zine kind of things. Gamers really love the bookshelf candy. It's a thing.
But I just think like I'm just trying to think like, oh, book 1 of Gods of the Forbidden North, Vulcan-Guard. Okay. Book 2, Skullsburg. Okay. Book 3, or whatever it is that you do. You know what I mean? I think having this all right here.
0814.
Well,
I'm going to do a series of zines, one hex at a time.
Part 186.
And they divide up a hex into hex maps, and it's like it, and it only comes out like every 2 or 3 months. It's the guys. Fuck, what's that book called? do a lot of OSE stuff. I'll figure it out one day, and I'll let you guys know.
You know, Monty Cook, didn't he have a dungeon a day? Remember that back in the day? You'd
Oh
go in
yeah,
the closet,
yeah.
and he would release like one encounter every day. But then again, he already was Monty Cook, so you
Right.
know.
Right.
So hey, so besides breaking things up into like 12 volumes for time, was there anything else? Was there just stuff that was a waste of time that like don't even
That's
bother
a good
with this
question, yeah.
part? Or like I know a lot of people that
Yeah.
are trying,
Sure. Okay. First off, this was a mistake I made early on, and it kind of trapped me for 3 volumes, and it cost me a lot of money. The first thing is, and this probably seems straightforward, and some people will be like, he didn't know that. Yes, I'm an idiot. I got it. I didn't know. I've stumbled into this. Yeah. So I didn't know, like, don't ever buy art until you're finished with your book. Like, in fact, lay it out first. Like, have your layout man, Glenn Seal, tell you what you need, and then you go buy it. And you build that into your structure. Like, you have the book done way before you tell everyone, if it's even a public deadline, and then you finish that sucker. The other thing is finish your book before you ever kickstart it. You will have a heart attack if you start getting successful and suddenly feel the pressure. And I had a massive amount of pressure for the last 4 years that just kept growing, and just you always feel it. And it's the first time I'm starting to not feel it because I didn't finish the book first. You know, and like, so I would say finish your book entirely if you're really serious about it. Finish your book entirely. Don't buy any art first until you're ready to do a Kickstarter. The only time you buy art at that point, if you're going to do a Kickstarter at that point, is to catch people's attention. So you go get somebody like an Ian Bagley or a Del Tiegler, you know, who's like really well known in whatever sphere you're in, and you get them to do one or two really cool pieces, right? But you have your layout man, like Glenn Seal, who I'd highly recommend, tell you what you need, and then you go and order it based on the manuscript text. That will save you so much time and effort. Then you go get a few artists, and those artists, you're going to hire them to do, like, and you're only going to use a couple of them. You're gonna, because I didn't. And I'm glad I did what I did for other reasons, but it was stupid business wise because it cost me a lot of money. Because, like, let's say Gary's one of my artists and Matt's another one, and I hire Gary to do 4 pieces and I hire Matt to do 10. I pay both of them top dollar, right? But if I hire Gary to do 40 pieces, he cuts me a deal because he knows he's got work for a certain amount of time. So overall, I end up saving money, right? So what happened to me was I came from literary magazines. And literary magazines, you want a showcase of people because we're not here for money. We're nonprofit. That's my background. So that's why I'm very bad with money, because I'm nonprofit, because I blow it all, like all nonprofits. We're totally dysfunctional.
Yeah.
Anyway, so like basically I turned around and was like, oh, I want an eclectic mix of art. And so I would buy art, not realizing this was pretty dumb, even though it looked cool, I thought. I think it worked out. But, like, you know, not everyone likes every style. I've heard some people complain about this guy or that guy, whatever. But, like, I liked the art, and that's all I cared about at the time. But once I did it in the first volume, and because it was a 3-part series, I was stuck. Otherwise, it would have looked different. And I felt I had to stick with what I kind of done. So I still continue that, even though it cost me a lot of money. And that's why I've spent $115,000 on art. So, and if I hadn't, I would have spent a lot less. Like, for example, I believe Alexander Macris said he spent for his 3 Axe books $50,000 total, and it's probably because he used exactly what I was saying. He was smarter as a businessman than I was. I blew all my money. I didn't make any money, so that's what I did with it. If you want to know, that's where a lot of it went. And it's because I made that bad decision in the beginning, I guess. But I mean, you know, whatever. I've heard people say that my book looks really good in the OSR, and you know, okay, fine. You know, I that's cool. But I would say those are some of the things I would do. I'd never, ever, ever launch a Kickstarter while you're fulfilling another one. That almost broke me. Just don't ever do it. Like, I had one shipment coming in. I'd never dealt with that from out of country before. And then you had to go fulfill it. And you open the spreadsheets up and you look at it and your eyes bleed. You go, no, what have I done? Why did I commit to this? This is horrible. And you have to do that while everyone's like, hey, tell me about what the stretch goal is. You can't do both. It's just, I did it and I almost exploded. Like, it was, nobody knew, but I was like, oh my God.
Well,
so just some of the advice pieces.
After hearing all this, I rescind what I said about the Haitian Empire. What I would really like you to do is buy yourself your favorite alcoholic beverage, buy several of them, and take the next couple of months off. Just
I'm gonna
chill.
run Delta Green, baby. Let's do
There
it.
you go. Yeah, there you
Bro,
go.
I'm gonna
Rub
play,
some Delta
and
Green.
you're gonna be in my Stars Without Number game as well. We're gonna get it together. I need 5 command crew members. We're gonna do it, Rob.
That's awesome, man.
We're
Yeah,
gonna
like
get it done.
yeah, it just I'm very glad I did it. I don't regret anything per se. Like I was a learning. I needed to learn it, and I learned it the hard way. Like that's the way it is when you're like me. And you don't pay attention to the fine print because you're ADHD, and you just just run for it, right? And that's how you learn. You got to break your leg like 4 times. And okay, I won't do that anymore. But
Right.
It also seems like everybody does this a little differently. Like, is there a tried and true Kickstarter formula
yes,
for everybody? You think that? Yes. What is it?
I mean, there's going to be parts of it that are going to be specific to whatever industry you're in, but there is a formula. It's a launch formula, and every couple of months or years, you'll hear someone go, "I did this and tweaked it, made it better." But like I was watching, and they never publicized this, but I was watching like some of the bigger OSR / moving out of the OSR type folks, like the Kelseys and the Gavins. I studied very, very intently their Kickstarter projects when I started launching my own, and that's how I learned a lot of it. As I watched what they did, I tried to go, why are they doing that? And I broke it down like a researcher. Like I built this model up, and a lot of it's spread out over the internet. You can find pieces of this and nuggets of wisdom. And I kind of brought it all together. And that's how I did really, really well. And one of the things you'll see, like, for example, like I noticed that, like, I'm trying to blank, it's been a little while, but I think one of the things she did that I watched, it was either her or somebody else, is they ended their Kickstarter. It wasn't on the 1st to the end of the month. It was like they shifted it slightly. And like one you would see shifted to where it would end just after the 1st of the next month, whereas other ones might launch it where it would start just before the 1st. And I was watching, and I was going, why are they doing that? Why are they and then I started thinking about it. I'm like, oh, because they're waiting until people get paid. And I start thinking like, there's a psychology there. Like for example, like, so I practiced it out, like volume 2. I launched it in February, but it bled over into March. And the reason I did it was because I was like, I know that they will pledge, but they don't have to pay until March. And that's when all the big ones will launch their stuff like a week after mine ended. So I was like, I want to get all their money before the big boys launch and take it all away. Because I've seen when a big one like Luke Gygax launched, who I'm actually going to play in a game with on the 11th. That's pretty cool. But Luke Gygax launched something with Troll Lords, I think it was, like a few years back. One of his father's legacy projects looked really cool. And what happened was it did really well. And one of the things was, like, I was launching, and his was the only big one that was like similar to mine at the time. And I saw people start canceling my pledges, and I was like, they're going to Luke Gygax. And like they were, because sometimes you only got so much to spend, right? And like,
right.
So then I was like, oh, I'm going to launch in February, because nobody launches in February. Everyone waits till March, but then everyone watches you in March. They watch you in February. So in the third one, I start launching. The third one was mostly in February. And I was looking at Kelsey D. I was like, when's she launching? Because I'm not going to be at the same time. No way. No way. So I was like, I saw her, and I was like, it's going to be huge. I know. So I was like, I'm going to end this like the week before she starts it. So I was watching to when she announced when the date. And I go, okay, that's how I'm going to end mine. So I ended mine just after everyone got paid on the 1st of March. Boom. Nobody dropped mine the way they did the second campaign, and I was able to pull the 170, like. So there's a formula. And like, the thing is, like, I don't want to name names, but I've got friends and stuff in the industry who have watched, and some of them have big names, and they don't know the formula. They're just starting to figure it out, and they'll launch and do all the things you're not supposed to do, like launch on a Friday or a Monday. And they think that's good. And it's like, that's horrible. You don't do that. And there's a lot of reasons why, I could talk for hours about it, but basically, like, you'll see them, and like some of them have like huge platforms, and you're like, you should be making like 3 times what I'm making with the platform you have. Cause I have none. And like, the thing is, I had no audience. I had no social media 90 days out before I launched my first campaign. I made $35,000. That doesn't sound like a lot, But if you go to Kickstarter's data, they have public data for all their stuff. Go look at it and count up the number of Kickstarters that broke $20,000 compared to the ones that failed. When you do the whole numbers and figure it out, like I was in the top like 10% or something, or 20%, because it was like a really small number. It's like really like impressive. I don't remember it right off the top of my head, but like it's really tiny. Like you break 20 grand, you're in the top thing, and I almost doubled it with no social media. And I'll watch people who have like big audiences, they have names, and they won't do what I did, and people still don't know who I am. You know, like I've gone to like a convention, nobody knows who I am. You know, like, and I'll walk around like they didn't like announce me as a special guest. You know what I mean? Like nobody knows who I am, and I made 3 times as much as that guy who is like the main guest. And like, and I know who that guy is. He's a great designer, but they don't do well because they don't know the formula, or they have someone doing it for them. And like some guys figure it out. That's why they make lots and lots of money. There's a formula and it builds. And like it's just psychology and a lot of other things. And I talk about real openly in a lot of my posts, you know, because I want people to learn, because it's like some of you guys need to learn how to do this, because you could be making a lot more money.
Right.
You know, but anyway,
Sounds
I could go
like
on.
You found a side gig. You should start offering your services to certain
I mean, I don't have
main
time,
folks.
but I mean,
That's
and
true.
they don't ask, but it is funny. I noticed
There's a weird. Is it? Can I ask you? Is it a weird pride thing? Like the not wanting to ask or not wanting to do things like somebody, or you know, a lot of you guys that are creators, everything is so isolated. It's not like you guys are working in teams and everybody's making their decisions, and they don't know what to tell people and what not to tell people. And you know,
it's just honestly, like, think about it. Like, okay, so like imagine, Gary, you like turn around and you figure it out. You figure out the formula, you figure out the whatever, and you go and you succeed a little bit, and then you succeed more and you succeed more, right? Are you going to turn around and be like, now I'm going to tell everyone? So most people don't, right? Like I think that's normal.
I don't want to sound like the black pill guy, but I am a lawyer, so I deal with people at their worst.
I am a lawyer.
And that's and that's how I've always seen it. Like the you say isolation, I see it more like camps, right? Yeah. And that's why I do think it's good to have some kind of social media presence, so you can kind of build up an audience. So when you do finally do something that's going to make more than tens of dollars, like you can actually do something with it. And that's what I think is really impressive about what you've been doing, is because like you I know you through the Basic Expert. Like you were on one of his live streams years ago, and I was like, oh wow, that does look cool. And then I picked it up, and then we kind of chatted a couple times on various, you know, Discord servers or Guilded or whatever. And then it just kind of went from there. You know what I mean? So I that to me is impressive, and I do think it's not just because you figured out a formula.
No,
you wrote a damn good book, but
I mean,
yeah,
there's more to it. Yeah, I mean,
but there's a business side. You've got to take care of the business side as well, and especially if you've got no social media presence, and that's what I think that's really impressive. But there's a lot of word of mouth, Rob.
Yeah,
nobody.
That's still
says,
big.
Yeah, and nobody is ever like, fucking God's the Forbidden North, man. Like everyone's like, yeah.
I don't know. I hear it a lot.
Well,
actually, as a creator, that's all you hear is like,
I don't like, as somebody walking around like, bumping into people.
Mordor. Then like back to tears and like Mount Doom, and you're like back into it, you know. Yeah. All you hear is the criticism.
Yeah, but that's because you're the creator. You're never gonna any criticism you hear is gonna be louder than what it really is. And any praise you hear,
right in the gonad, dude.
Well, again, not to be the black pill. There's a reason for it. We are dealing with small margins, and people are vicious, man. They're vicious, so that's why I don't give a shit.
Well,
I'm just having fun doing whatever it is I'm doing.
I guess people have told me, like, they think, I've had some people tell me they think I'm crazy, like telling people like what I did and like revealing numbers. But like I said, I come from a nonprofit background. I'm a professor, so I'm not a very good businessman. I'm just used to like explain. Like I teach everything I know that I possibly can help my students. I give them everything I know, and they don't always want to hear it, and they don't always listen. But like I found that that's true still, even though I've told everyone formulas and stuff. There's still people I'll watch who don't do what I told them exactly, and I'm like, I spelled it out for you. Why didn't you go do that? But like that's just the way it is. I want to help people. I never got into this to even make a business, to be honest with you. I made that decision when it started getting bigger than I realized it was. You know what I mean? It kind of caught me by surprise. I didn't think I was going to even make $10,000 the first time, and I made 35. I'm most proud of that. The 35,000. I still go around bragging. I'm like, and I got an Emmy on that book. Like, yeah, like nothing. Actually, that's my biggest. Like the other stuff is like, oh, that's cool, awesome, but like I don't know, it doesn't feel the same. It's just, but I really just I want people to like to succeed because it's fun, and I think there's a current opening because of missteps by the large powers that be in our industry. Like it's just like in the video game world, the AAA studios have kind of like and a lot of that's going on. And like, so there's a lot of space for creators like myself who don't know what they're doing to try to make something cool. And I don't know, I feel like I'd rather share that now to help them because it's hard. A lot of people don't understand like, I know it's late, but like a lot of people understand like, like I had to create a book, I had to art direction, I had to turn around and edit, I had to proofread, I had to look at the business angle, all this just for the shipment and delivery. I had to figure out like marketing essentially without knowing any of that. It's none of my specialty. Just to figure this out on my own, I had to turn around and figure out a Kickstarter formula. I had to turn around and convince people across the internet to give me money for something they didn't see. And now I have to do taxes, which I fucking hate. I have to do all those stuff. And it's all stuff that like I'm not good at. And and I don't know any of it. So I'm like, you know what? I can only imagine that like everyone else feels the same way. And like I kind of feel like, why wouldn't I share what I know with other people? Because I still have tons to learn. I mean, as it's unfolding now with my pledge manager issues, and I want to help people to avoid as much of the headaches as I can do, because there's a lot of ways you can get scalped, a lot of ways you can lose money by just making really tiny, small errors that seem so insignificant. And can cost you a lot of money. It's just easy. And then on top of everything else, people coming at you sometimes, or, you're just like, you don't have any allies. And I feel like, why can't there be somebody, a group of us that just says, screw that. We're going to share what we're doing. And if we're all doing cool stuff, we're going to do well. Like that's been my impression, is that most of the
Absolutely, man.
I would love that personally, to see more like a banding together. And I think there was a time like when the OSR was sort of like you'd want that on your book, like OSR approved or whatever. I think there was a time when that was kind of true. I'm not sure. It doesn't feel like that's true anymore, if it ever was true. You know what I mean? Because I wasn't there at the beginning. I came in kind of late to the whole thing. But yeah, it would be cool to see. Because I do agree with you. Like, now is the time to strike if you want to do something cool. I don't think Wizards of the Coast is going to be displaced, but I think their slice of the pie is definitely shrinking.
There's a little area there.
Yeah.
And that'll change, in time. But like right now, there seems to be, and it seems like that in the video game space too. The indies are kind of growing. They're kind of reflecting each other in an interesting way. But Chubby, how much of the 35,000 I keep? So I was already like 38,000 in debt to myself when I got the 35,000. So none. I spent like 68 grand on that first book. It was like 68 or 69,000 to produce volume 1. And I was about 30 or 40 grand in debt to myself when I finished and started launching the day I launched volume 2. And the first thing I did was pay myself off and then watch as other stuff that I was committing to cost way more than I expected. Back into the hole. I was 80,000 in debt to myself. I had to take out a refinance my mortgage to turn around and pay for volume 3 and launch it. And now I'm paid off, but I'm pretty much at zero. I had about $1,100 in the account about 2 or 3 weeks ago. I'm at like 5 or 6,000. I've raised about 26 or 7 or 8,000 on the pledge manager, even though it's wonky. I got about 260 more backers. So I will have a decent amount of money when this is done, but like it's going to be about 25,000 for the books and about 20,000 for the shipping. So it's going to get wiped out and I'll be at zero, and then I'll release it on drive through and maybe then I'll start making money. So,
Well, on that note, which is better to order from, drive through or direct from the store?
well, so drive through is like just the print on demand book, which is good, sturdy work. And if you're an international backer, you skip a lot of the shipping shenanigans, like because they have a warehouse in the UK and everything, as I'm sure most of you know. You can get the PDFs there, but if you do it at Shopify, the drive-through doesn't take a take from me, so that's nice. But I also sell the premium edition books on the Shopify store, pulphummock.com. So that's already been paid for because I had to buy overage, So basically, all of those are just like, ooh, money. So if you go buy the premium editions, which are way nicer, anyone who has both and has seen them next to each other, there's a big difference. I had some pieces of art that I'd never really seen until I saw them in print on the premium edition. I was like, whoa, Ian Bagley's way better than even I thought before. Because you just couldn't see it,
Yeah.
It was different when you saw it on the really nice paper, So anyway, that's what I would tell people. It's just like, if you want the premium books, which are amazing, they got a ribbon and everything, go for it. I will have excess stock of them for volume 3. I always buy like 300 extra. You got to buy like 3 to 5% extra to cover damaged ones or stuff like that, things that get lost. And then you've got a couple hundred extra to make sure you get to the next tier of, like, I need 1,000 on my offset run to make each one of these only $9. Right. So that I can actually break even. Like, it's kind of like that. So you sometimes buy more than you need. So like I had about 350 extra volume 1s and 2. I'm down to like 270 of each of those, I think, is where I'm at right now. And then I'm going to have about 300 extra volume 3. So you'll be able to get all of them once I get them in like March, April, depending on when the shipping arrives and all that stuff. But yeah, so that's what I would say. And if you want to learn more about Kickstarters, go to my volume 3 Gods of the Forbidden North trilogy page, and then look at my updates. Some of the early ones, I was breaking it down. You'll see it says like Kickstarter crowdfunding advice, I think is how I titled them. And I shared a lot of my numbers and things like that I use. And if you ever have questions, you can message me. I'm happy to. I've met with people and showed them my Kickstarter data. Like I've showed them that stuff because like it's helpful. I try to show them like this is what you're blah, and it's helpful. It's very helpful. And I don't know. I've had a lot of people thank me for that gone on and use that data, and I'm. I just feel good that I'm helping other people because I would have loved that myself.
Yeah.
Anyway.
Right.
I can keep talking about this forever if you keep me going, man, because I'm now, by the way, staying up really late. Now you guys are getting tired. I'm like, I'm still up, guys.
Call
Rob at any time. He's available 24 hours a day.
Apparently his cell phone number's out there somewhere. So
get in touch with me. I have no problem giving you Rob's number. Don't worry about it.
All right. Well, it's 12:37 where I'm at. Yeah. Half hour earlier than when we would normally end, but again, by popular demand, we're going to be doing this early. Thanks for everyone to show up. Rob, thank you as always. You're always welcome.
Anytime.
Yeah, absolutely. So, but guys, great chat tonight. Really appreciate you guys, your questions, your comments, being here. And once again, hit like, subscribe, bell icon. If you're on Rumble, give me a follow. I think there was like maybe 2 people on Rumble tonight, but that's okay. Nice. And then Facebook. Because I want to stream there. I don't know why, but I just do. But anyway.
When will the show be moving forward another half hour? Chubby, goddamn, bro.
That's all he does. That's all he does.
Like,
is make
I
demands.
Swear to God, dude.
Chubby,
my kids, 15 minutes after they open their presents, they're like, my birthday's in March. Anyway, sorry.
Yeah, Chubby, I just want to thank you, number 1. Number 2, we are looking for a producer, and I know you got all that Shadow Dark money. But anyway, we can talk after the stream. All right. With that said, y'all, thank you so much. But our watch has ended. We'll see you next week with Alexander Macris.
Oh, shit. Alexander Macris. Hey, you got us at the bottom of the outro screen.
You screwed it up again.
God damn it.
We're punk rock over here, folks. Not like
We're-
Legion of Myth.
We're fucking broke, is what we are. Punk rock is a nice way of saying we ain't got shit.
Get up.